Puerto Rico, Mr. Pierluisi.
Thank you, Chairman. Welcome, General Lynch. I would like to address DOJ's mission to prevent and prosecute violent crime. And naturally, as Puerto Rico's only representative in Congress, I want to concentrate on the U.S. territory. This is the same topic I raised with General Holder each time he appeared before this committee. Broadly speaking, when it comes to violent crime, the narrative in Puerto Rico has been positive lately. In 2011, there were 1,136 murders in Puerto Rico, over 3 a day, the highest in our history. Most of these homicides were related to the drug trade. So I pushed DHS and DOJ extremely hard to dedicate more personnel and resources to Puerto Rico. DHS, including the Coast Guard, ICE, CBP, responded to this pressure. DOJ responded too, but to a lesser extent than DHS. These enhanced federal efforts have borne fruit. The number of homicides in Puerto Rico has decreased significantly every year. In 2015 to date, there have been 508 murders. If the current trend continues, there will be about half as many homicides in Puerto Rico this year versus 4 years ago. That is a remarkable statistic we should be proud of. But we're fighting a determined enemy, and the gains we have achieved can be easily reversed unless our efforts are sustained and strengthened. And the fact is, despite recent improvements, Puerto Rico still has a homicide rate far higher than any state. Yet, my staff and I have found it difficult to obtain answers to basic questions about DOJ efforts in the territory. So, I want a member-level briefing on this subject as soon as possible. In the meantime, I have 3 specific questions for you today. I will ask them all at once and then give you the time to answer them. First, the U.S. Attorney's Office in Puerto Rico has a very high criminal caseload. Part of the reason is that they are prosecuting a number of cases that in the states would likely be prosecuted in state or local courts as opposed to the federal court. I'm aware that the U.S. Attorney's Office in Puerto Rico has entered an MOU with the Puerto Rico Department of Justice so that state prosecutors can be detailed to the U.S. Attorney's Office to work on federal cases. While I support this arrangement, I'm a former AG, and in my time in the 90s, I did something similar. I'm concerned that there are not enough federal prosecutors assigned to Puerto Rico in light of the caseload. Have you looked at this issue? And if not, can you please look at it and have your staff brief me on your specific findings? Again, number of assistant U.S. attorneys in Puerto Rico. Second, as you have stated here today, DOJ has a comprehensive program called the Violence Reduction Network, designed to reduce violence in some of our country's most violent cities. I believe there are cities in Puerto Rico that are suitable candidates for this program, and I urge DOJ to select a Puerto Rico site in 2016. Can you assure me that Puerto Rico will receive due consideration for inclusion in the VRN program or any other DOJ program designed to combat violent crime? Finally, the New York Times just reported, or recently reported, that in 2014, more guns used to commit crimes in Puerto Rico were purchased in Florida than in Puerto Rico itself. What is DOJ doing to reduce the number of guns being unlawfully transported from Florida and other states to Puerto Rico and being used to commit crimes in my turf? Thank you.
Thank you, Congressman. And I am happy indeed to have my staff arrange to provide further information for you on all of these points. I can certainly tell you that we are looking to expand our efforts under that MOU. And with respect to specific numbers, I would like to have the opportunity to look into that and provide you with a briefing on that. With respect to the firearms trafficking between the mainland Florida and Puerto Rico, we do have a very strong presence on the island of ATF, along with, as you know, a host of other agencies, and we are looking at ways to deal with that as well. We also certainly will give Puerto Rican cities due consideration in the Violence Reduction Network selections for the upcoming year. I would note, however, that we are also committed, even beyond the Violence Reduction Network, to working with local authorities in Puerto Rico as well as the U.S. Attorney to deal with the situation there. As you note, the homicide rate is down significantly, but it is still far too high, and that places the residents of Puerto Rico in an unreasonable and untenable situation, and we feel it is our obligation and responsibility to do all we can to ameliorate that.
Thank you.
Chair, thanks.